did a good job with that, right? Gave me a little different pronunciation. I said I want to get it perfect. Did I get it right?
Yeah, and it's very important for me. Our relations are based, of course, on the values. Right? Thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement.
Will American soldiers remain in Poland? Will American soldiers remain in Poland?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know something I don't?
Amerika Serikat dibuat panas dingin setelah tak menerima undangan resmi menghadiri parade militer besar-besaran di Beijing. Bagi Washington, ini bukan sekedar absen diplomatik, melainkan sebuah pesan simbolis yang menohok. Tiongkok sedang merancang poros baru kekuatan dunia tanpa melibatkan Amerika Serikat. Apalagi acara ini bukan parade biasa. Panggung megah di jantung Beijing itu justru menjadi ajang pertemuan 4 tokoh dunia yang tengah mencuri perhatian global. Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Prabowo Subianto, dan Kim Jong-un. Kehadiran mereka berdampingan membuat banyak analis menyebut parade tersebut sebagai peta baru kekuatan abad ke-21. Xi Jinping dan Putin tampil sebagai arsitek poros timur. Kim Jong-un membawa nuansa tantangan nuklir. Sementara Prabowo menghadirkan wajah baru Indonesia yang semakin diperhitungkan dalam gelanggang global. Dari balik sorak-sorai pasukan dan deru mesin alutsista canggih, satu pesan jelas menggema, dunia multipolar semakin nyata, dan dominasi Amerika tidak lagi tak terbantahkan. Cina memanfaatkan momentum ini untuk memamerkan alutsista terbaru dengan skala yang membuat dunia terperangah, rudal hipersonik, yang diklaim mampu menembus sistem pertahanan paling canggih milik Barat. Drone tempur generasi terbaru dengan kecerdasan buatan yang bisa beroperasi tanpa kendali penuh manusia. Hingga sistem pertahanan udara berlapis yang digadang-gadang mampu menandingi bahkan melampaui teknologi Amerika Serikat dan sekutunya. Tidak berhenti pada unjuk kekuatan militer, parade tersebut juga menjadi panggung simbolik yang menegaskan kokohnya poros Beijing, Moskow, Pyongyang, Jakarta. Sebuah konfigurasi kekuatan baru yang oleh banyak analis dianggap sebagai penantang serius dominasi lama Barat. Kehadiran Prabowo Subianto di barisan tokoh besar itu kian memperkuat kesan bahwa Indonesia tidak lagi hanya menjadi penonton dalam percaturan global, melainkan pemain aktif yang siap mengambil peran strategis di tengah rivalitas geopolitik yang semakin memanas. Tak heran, reaksi keras langsung muncul dari Washington. Mantan Presiden Donald Trump dengan gaya retorikanya yang selalu meledak-ledak melontarkan sindiran pedas terhadap Cina. Bahkan menyebut langkah itu sebagai sebuah panggung provokasi yang dirancang bukan hanya untuk menantang, tetapi juga merendahkan Amerika beserta sekutunya di mata dunia. Dalam wawancara yang segera menjadi sorotan media, Trump menegaskan bahwa parade tersebut adalah bukti nyata melemahnya pengaruh Barat, terutama NATO, yang menurutnya gagal menunjukkan solidaritas dan kekuatan di tengah kebangkitan poros baru Asia. Ia menuding para sekutu Eropa terlalu sibuk dengan krisis internal masing-masing, sementara Tiongkok, Rusia, Korea Utara, dan kini Indonesia justru semakin solid membangun blok alternatif. Dengan nada sarkastis, Trump bahkan menyindir bahwa NATO kini lebih pandai berdebat di ruang rapat ketimbang menjaga dunia dari ancaman nyata. Sebuah pernyataan yang langsung memicu perdebatan sengit di Washington dan memperlihatkan betapa panasnya dampak politik dari parade militer Beijing tersebut.
You did a good job with that, right? Gave me a little different pronunciation. I said I want to get it perfect. Did I get it right?
Yeah, and it's very important for me. Our relations are based, of course, on the values. Right? Thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement.
Will American soldiers remain in Poland? Will American soldiers remain in Poland?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know something I don't? Yeah, we're very happy. If anything, we'll put more there if they want. But they've long wanted to have a larger presence. We have some countries that have more, not too many, but no, they'll be staying in Poland. We're very much aligned with Poland.
Sir, on Russia and China, you certainly asked about. We saw a dramatic picture where we saw the leaders of Russia and North Korea and China together. The first time the leaders of those three countries have been together in this sort of show of solidarity. You said that they're conspiring against the United States. What do you think they're conspiring to do And given this, is it reason why you should slap or would consider slapping secondary sanctions on Russia if they're conspiring against the U.S. now?
Well, I've already done that with regard to India, and we're doing it with regard to other things. And I put out a truth last night, you saw that, and I was the one that brought it up. I said, they're only doing this, they're looking to, when they did what they did, I thought it was a beautiful ceremony, I thought it was very, very impressive. But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two. I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to gain its freedom. But perhaps that was just that was a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine, but I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
You've expressed many times your frustration and disappointment with Putin, but there's no action since you took your office.
How do you know there's no? How do you know there's no action? Really? Wait. Who are you with? Okay. How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal? Would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action? And I haven't done phase 2 yet, or phase 3. But when you say there's no action, I think you ought to get yourself a new job, because if you remember, 2 weeks ago I said, if India buys, India's got big problems, and that's what happened, so don't tell me about that. Would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia.
When did he make a decision on Ukraine, Mr. President?
I have no message to President Putin. He knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or the other. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy, and if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen.
So you gave Vladimir Putin a 2-week deadline to agree to talks with Volodymyr Zelensky. That deadline is now nearly approached. Can you give us any indication when you will make a decision?
Well, I'm having a conversation with him very shortly, and I'll know pretty much what we're going to be doing. We've taken very strong action, as you know, and in other ways we've taken very strong action, but I'll be speaking to him over the next few days, and we're going to see.
With who, sir?
I'm going to know exactly what's happening. I'm not happy with all the people. You got 7,819 people killed last week. Russian soldiers and Ukraine soldiers, right? Not American soldiers, not soldiers from Poland, but they're human beings, they're souls. They have parents, they wave goodbye to their parents, and their parents never see them again. That's the end of them. Over a stupid war, and I want to see it stopped. Now, we have stopped the money we send weapons to NATO, they pay full price. We don't, Biden spent $350 billion so stupidly. And it was one of the reasons that this whole thing happened. A big reason this war happened was sitting right in these chairs, this one in particular. So I will tell you that I think we're going to have a good solution, but they're losing soldiers at levels that nobody has seen since the Second World War. This is the worst conflict, and it's just going on and on. It's one's defense, one's offense. The offense moves a little bit, just a little bit. You take a look, they move inches. They're dropping bombs and killing everybody. The whole thing is not since the Second World War has there been anything even close to this. And they're not soldiers from my country. This is my country. But I have a power to end things. That's why I was able to end 7 other wars. Sometimes you never know with war. War is a very interesting thing. You never know with war. War is complex and dangerous, and what a mess, what a bloody mess. It's going to get done one way or the other. But they have to stop.
Sementara itu, media barat ramai menyoroti kehadiran Presiden Republik Indonesia Prabowo Subianto. yang dianggap memperkuat posisi strategis Indonesia di tengah pusaran geopolitik global. Bagi banyak pengamat internasional, tampilnya Prabowo berdampingan dengan Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, dan Kim Jong-un bukan hanya sekedar seremoni diplomatik, melainkan sinyal keras bahwa Indonesia mulai menampakkan diri sebagai aktor penting dalam lanskap multipolar baru. Sejumlah media arus utama di Eropa bahkan menuliskan bahwa Indonesia kini tidak bisa lagi dipandang remeh, sebab posisi Jakarta bukan hanya sebagai penonton netral, melainkan sebagai jembatan strategis yang mampu berhubungan dengan berbagai blok kekuatan, baik timur maupun barat. Kehadiran Presiden Prabowo juga dipandang sebagai cerminan arah baru politik luar negeri Indonesia, yang lebih berani, lebih mandiri, dan siap memainkan kartu besar dalam percaturan global. Sebuah perkembangan yang membuat banyak pihak di Washington dan Brussels harus mengkaji ulang cara mereka memandang Indonesia. Putin dan Xi Jinping tampak semakin mesra, memperlihatkan keakraban politik yang seolah menegaskan bahwa poros Beijing-Moskow kini kian sulit digoyahkan. Di sisi lain, Kim Jong-un tampil penuh percaya diri dengan retorika tajam khasnya, menegaskan sikap konfrontatif Korea Utara terhadap Barat sekaligus menunjukkan bahwa negaranya tetap menjadi pion penting dalam peta kekuatan Asia. Kehadiran tiga pemimpin itu berdampingan, ditambah tampilnya Prabowo Subianto sebagai wajah baru kekuatan Asia Tenggara, semakin memperkuat kesan bahwa poros Asia ini tidak hanya sekedar pertemuan simbolis saja, melainkan sebuah koalisi strategis yang siap mengirim pesan keras ke dunia. Mereka benar-benar bersiap menantang dominasi Amerika Serikat di kancah global. Dengan parade alutsista canggih sebagai latar, pesan itu menjadi semakin gamblang. Era unipolar di bawah hegemoni Washington perlahan bergeser menuju babak multipolar dengan pusat gravitasi baru yang lahir dari Asia.